an update, if you have one, on the Lebanon flights?
I do. So another flight left, another U.S. organized flight left from Beirut this morning for Istanbul. It had approximately 120 U.S. citizens, legal permanent residents, and their family members on board. That brings the total number of U.S. citizens, legal permanent residents, and family members who have left on U.S. organized flights since we started them last week to over 1,000 on 10 flights. We've had 10 flights go out, each with a capacity of 300 people, total of 3,000 seats that we've made available on these flights, been filled so far by over 1,000 people. In addition, with flights that have gone out on Middle East Airlines, we have now blocked over 900 seats, and we know that hundreds of them have been filled by Americans as well.
All right, so 10 flights, 3,000 seats, only a third of them have been filled.
Correct.
My understanding is that there was one flight that left maybe last night that only had like 19 people on it?
Somewhere around that, yeah. The flight last night, they varied. Last night was a very small number of people, but today we had, as I said, around 120 people.
Fair enough, but I'm just wondering, since you've said that you're going to keep organizing these flights for as long as there's demand, at what point does the demand, what point is demand so diminished that you think that you don't need to do them anymore?
When we get to a point that there well, let me tell you how we would generally look at it. If we get to a point where there is sufficient capacity on commercial flights that don't require us to organize these U.S. charter flights, then we would stop organizing them. We started organizing them because there wasn't sufficient capacity on the only airline that was leaving from Beirut. Even though we were able to hold seats for U.S. citizens, there weren't enough for the demand. So we've supplemented that with our own flights. If at some point we find that there's not enough demand and that the demand that exists can be filled with commercials, we would take a look at moving back to just operating commercial flights. But we don't assess we're at that point yet. And demand does shift over time based on the security situation. Yep. There's still a number of Americans who are in contact with us about wanting to leave, and so for the time being, we're going to continue these flights.
How many is that?
It's not an answer to that question. There are 8,800 people who are in contact with the United States, with the State Department, looking for more information. Some percentage of those, it's not 100%, some percentage of those 8,800 are looking for information about leaving, and some lesser percentage of those ultimately haven't decided to leave yet, as witnessed by the number of seats that aren't filled. But they're looking for information because, as we've said before, they make assessments all the time based on the security situation and based on their individual situations inside Lebanon.
Okay, thanks.